This is kit 2. This is the kit that is going to be going to softball games. So I kind of want to go down 3 different things on how we're going to stream with this. The first is setting up the equipment. The second is getting everything ready to stream, and then the third is actually running the program during the live stream. So first is probably the most time-consuming part is setting up the kit. So the tripod here is connected with Velcro. So you can just take off that Velcro, and we'll set this aside for now. We flip these switches here. We'll be able to see all the equipment that's inside. So this long pocket here, this is all backup equipment. There's also an extra long HDMI cable in here. The hope is that you'll never have to use this pocket. It just stays closed. So these are the 3 pockets that we really want to focus on. This first pocket is your computer pocket. It's all the things that you need for your computer to work. This other one is your audio pocket. So whenever we set up for our commentators to talk, this is the pocket that we need to get all that equipment from. And then the largest pocket we have is for our video equipment. That's connecting our camera to our computer. All right. Down here we have our audio equipment to talk with. We have our camera, and then we have everything else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up this kit right here in this library so that you can kind of see those steps as they take place. So this is our streaming computer. It's pretty heavy. Okay, these are all the things that we need for our computer. Our adapter. Okay, this lets us use this style USB port to access the old school USB ports. We're just gonna plug that in on the side here. Doesn't really matter where. And then the next thing is going to be the computer plug-in. And I'm actually gonna plug that into the splitter. That's gonna save me some outlets down the road here in a little bit. So I've got that in. You should see an orange light come on my computer. So now we're almost done with our computer. The last thing is our hotspot. Okay, so we obviously need internet. That's usually going to be kept in this big area right here with the extension cords and the computer. Okay, it uses another one of these bricks. You can plug it in on either one. This one just seems a little bit more secure. We have 2 different hotspots right now. This one will probably stay with softball for the season. But once you're plugged in, you can see there is a little rectangle that you can press that will give you your button. Once it powers on, this computer's been connected to this hotspot before, so you should be able to select it on your Wi-Fi pretty easily. It shouldn't be a big deal. Okay. So at that point, our computer is set up, ready to go. So now we have video and audio are the 2 things left. So we'll go ahead and do video. For our tripod, first thing we'll do is we'll just widen that out, and this right here can tighten so that it doesn't come back up. On each leg we have 4 different extenders. We can extend those as high as we need to. So once we have this set up, the good thing about softball is we're gonna have a stationary camera. We're not gonna move our camera around very much. So to put the camera on, we have this little brick right here. On the top of this is this little switch. Open that switch all the way, and that pops right on there, locks it right back. Really, really simple. We need to plug in our camera, so we're gonna go into our camera pocket and get our camera plug. Okay. It's gonna plug in right here on the surge protector. The other end is gonna plug into this top back corner of the camera. If it's covered, you can just pull that off. You can see there's a plug for this to go into. All right. This should turn red or green. Okay, right now our camera is still off, so we need to make sure that we turn it on. All right, so on this switch, we have to push it all the way forward to go into camera mode. That should make that light turn green. Right here, you can see the camera cover is closed, so we just flip this switch so that now our camera is viewing. All right, and we're good there. Now we have a camera recording, we got to get that to the computer. So the first piece of equipment we have is our USB capture card. That's going to plug into this adapter that we plugged in, the very first thing that we did. We plug our capture card into the USB, and then we'll come to this HDMI cable. Now this is a different kind of HDMI cable than you will have at home. One end is a normal HDMI and the other is a little mini HDMI. So this mini side is what's going to plug into the camera. So if I look on this side, you can see the port for it right there. It even says HDMI. Sits right there. The other end, the one that looks like a regular HDMI, will plug into our USB capture card that we just plugged in. All right? So at this point, our camera is set up and it's connected to the computer. This piece of equipment here is for our commentators, the people that are going to be talking during the game. So we'll set that right there. All right, and we're going to come into our audio pocket. All right, so in here there should be two different things. There is a USB-C to USB-C cable. All right, that looks just like this. All right, one end of that will plug in over here on this computer. The other end plugs on the back. You'll see the little USB symbol. It's the only place it can plug in. All right, and then lastly we have our power cable, okay, which I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in here. You can plug it in anywhere. Okay, this plugs into the back. All right, and when we plug it in, all these lights should flash on for a second. All right, if they don't, we need to flip the power switch on the back and then they will light up. Okay, lastly we have our two headsets. The headset at the end has two plugs, okay? This is our mic plug. This is our headset plug, okay? So, for our first commentator, we'll put it on the far left. Over here on the far left. For our second commentator, they'll go on the second port. And then over here, second port. All right? At this point, the only thing left are my Velcro straps, which I'm going to put right back in there. And this, which is called a stream deck. Okay, now we're going to need this during our live stream, so it's the last thing that we're going to plug in. And I'm done with the kit after this. All right, so for my stream deck, I'm just going to set it right there. Whoever's streaming the game will keep that in their lap. And we will plug this in at our last USB port. Okay, so now every piece of equipment that we have is plugged in. We're ready to open up our OBS app and finish our setup. So to do that, I'm gonna come over here. Now, here's my password. Remember I told you it's right there, which is 2700. All right, so right now I don't need any of this. All I want to do is I want to go down here to my launch pad. This is where all the apps in the Mac are found, okay? The two apps that we're going to be using are OBS and Telescore. First thing I'm going to do is open OBS. Okay, you can see my camera is working. That's great. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that it's not. You log in, and this is a black screen or a screen that looks like this. Okay, if you get a black screen but everything's plugged in, that happens all the time. All that means is you plugged a USB cable somewhere weird. You don't have to move anything. All you'll do, okay, is down here where it says video capture, you're gonna double click that. Fine. Now that may already say USB capture. So if it does, click on it, click anything else, and then go back. And when you do that, it'll refresh the connection and everything will be working again. The thing we wanna look at is our audio capture. Okay, we should have some green bars. Okay, I want to test each one separately, so I'm going to say test, test, test. I can see that that's giving me a green bar. And I want to say test, test, test. You can see that's giving me a different green bar. Okay, so I know both of these are working. If it's not, that means that first off, we got to make sure these aren't turned down. If they're turned all the way down, they don't respond as well. So we want to make sure I put them all at halfway. Every dial at halfway, and then you should be pretty good there. So that should give us those green bars we're looking for. If it's not, we can do the same exact thing that we did on video. We can double click audio input, switch it to something else, and then switch it right back to Scarlet. All right, and that will fix the problem if there is a problem. The only thing left for us to do is to load up the scoreboard. So to load up the scoreboard, we'll go down to Launchpad again. And we're looking for the icon that doesn't have a picture. That's our telescore. We'll click on that. It's gonna bring up the program. And we're gonna have to go find the scoreboard in my file. So the way that we do that is we're gonna say open existing file. We're gonna go to OBS, because that's the software that we're using. And you're gonna see it says telescore boards. We wanna click that. And right now we have a scoreboard for basketball and baseball, softball. Well, we're talking about baseball, softball right now, so we'll pick that. And then here's my scoreboard. Okay, when we have everything set up and we want to start the stream, we're gonna have to go down here to Google Chrome. If you need to log back in, rather than texting me, what's the login? Right here on the main screen, it says logins. There it is, right there. Your whole logins are right there, you always have them. Let's assume you load up to YouTube Studios. This is going to give you a list of all of the live streams that we have scheduled. Okay. Hopefully the stream that you're about to film will already be on here. That means I made the stream for you ahead of time and I scheduled it. You find the live stream that you're doing. I want you to mouse over it and you're going to click that symbol right there. All right. That is our live control room. That takes us into here where we have. Right here, we'll see our chats, people watching, they can chat with us. We need to make sure that we have the correct stream key. The stream key will click softball. That should never change for you guys, but we want to make sure that if you create a new one, that that's the one it shows. Okay, so when we're ready to go live, if we go back to our OBS software, all you have to do is click start streaming. Okay, and it's going to immediately say it's streaming. It's going to start counting up how many seconds you've been streaming for, all of that. If we click over here, it's still connecting. It takes about 20 seconds for the stream to catch up. But once it does, you're gonna see that what we've been streaming on our software is gonna show up right there, okay? You're still not live, okay? When you're ready to go live, you have to click this go live button, all right? Click go live. It's gonna tell you once it gets the stream connected that you are live. There you go, you're live. And from here you can see how many are watching and who's chatting with. All right, so that brings us to part 3, which is actually running the stream. Now for softball, the camera doesn't move, so that's easy. All we have to do now is actually run the game. So we back down here, we have the telescore. Bring that right back where we can see it. Okay. All right, so now I want to make sure my scoreboard is set. So we need to do our visitor initials and home initials. Let's say that we're the visiting team, GHS. Set. Let's say we're going to Big Spring, so we'll say BHS. Okay, we want to keep it to 3 initials, otherwise it won't fit on our scoreboard. Right now our inning is blank, and so to fix that, you just go up to 1. There you go. Our runs are both blank, so we're gonna say 1 and then back to 0. That resets it. 1, back to 0. So now the only time we'll use this scoreboard is if the inning changes, at which point you'll just click the plus sign and it'll change on your scoreboard, or a run is scored. Okay. Everything else will be done with our stream deck. So on our stream deck, we can track the number of balls, the number of strikes, and the number of outs. All right, so let's say they pitch a ball. Ball 1, you'll see it changes it on my scoreboard. Ball 2, All right, let's say they get a hit and we need to reset. This last button here resets it back to 0. Strikes, you have strike 1, strike 2, reset to 0. For outs, right now it's showing there are 2 outs. So we want to click that and that's going to clear those off. So right now we have no outs. We get an out, we click that, fills it back in, 1 out, 2 out. If there's 3, we just reset. This is our inning button. Right now it's the top of the first. If you click this, it'll change it to bottom of the first. All right, and you can go back and forth there. This cool little Ranger man does nothing. Don't even worry about it, it does nothing. The last thing that we have here is gonna be our bases. So if we have a runner on first, we can click the first base button and you can see it fills in. First and third, there we go. Runner on first is out, there we go. Okay, so we just click those buttons and you can play around with this. This is really intuitive and easy to use. And so if you're streaming it, you'll be able to hold this, track these numbers, and then if a run is scored, you'll have to come over to the screen and click on it. When the game is over, simply end the stream, stop the stream, and you're done. It's simple enough. Okay, that's it.